Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This evening I am off to a very special anniversary performance of Thriller Live. It's their 10th year in the West End, which is incredibly exciting and a huge celebration. So, without further ado, let's go to see Thriller in the West End. Excuse the voice, I've literally basically lost it, but I'm trying hard to keep going and going and going, but I can't wait. So without further ado, let's go and celebrate Thriller. Excited, let's go.
I just popped back in straight away. Where's the dishes? So I'm like,
everybody, we are at Thriller Live 10th anniversary gala. We are absolutely buzzing for our lives. We cannot wait to see the sign up store. We've got existing cast members here, we've got past cast members here, maybe even some future Michael Jacksons in the audience. Little ones are here too. Let's do. He's feeding, bless him. But we're so excited. Woo!
Hi guys! So I'm talking from the very poorly Harry Jack, but what he can't say is the fact that the atmosphere in here at the 10th anniversary is electric.
It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Lift your voice. And we've been told that there may be a few secrets that are going to happen in the second act. I wonder what they could be. Could it be half of it? Who knows? Watch this space and we will tell you.
I'd just like to welcome on stage the creator, producer and director, Mr. Adrian Grant, Paul Warden and Mr. Gary Lloyd.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Paul Walden, and this is Derek Nichol, and we're producers of the show. Well done! As you know, tonight we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the show here at the Lyric. It's been an amazing journey, and in that time the show's played to 2.5 million people here at the Lyric Theatre. 5 million people worldwide with a second touring production as well. It's also become the longest running show in the history of this theatre. So it's an incredible achievement. None of it would have been possible, of course, without the incredible talent of Michael Jackson, who we remember here every night on this stage performing. I want to take this opportunity just to say a few thank yous also to the people that keep everything running, because they don't always get the appreciation and the comments that they deserve. An incredibly talented group of people. Gary Lloyd, who's the director of the show. Director and choreographer, I should say.
This is a lot of I'm so far away.
It's correcting me now. Also, the show wouldn't have been possible without the Adrian Grant, who was the original creator of the show, came up with the idea. And also, in the back out there, the music supervisor and arranger, John Marr. I don't know if you we have to say thank you to the incredible singers, dancers, cast, musicians, involved in making this happen. It's a huge undertaking. There's literally been hundreds and hundreds of people that have worked on the show over the 10 years, both in the West End and on tour. I'm not going to name them all, so you're okay. But we just want to thank everybody. We want to thank the creative team as well, everybody that's worked on the casting of the show, which is very difficult to get these amazingly talented people. And also to all of the Flying Music head office team. I just want to say also thank you to Nika Burns and Lawrence Miller and Nymax, who host the show here at this theatre. It's their theatre and they look after us and make sure that everything runs smoothly. So thanking them as well. I've probably missed someone now, but so I'm going to hand over to Adrian, I think, to say a few words.
I haven't prepared a speech, and I thought I'm just going to speak from the heart this evening. This show is thanks to a 21-year relationship that I had with Michael Jackson, working with him since I started a fan magazine back in 1988. And Michael was the most giving person I know. He was the kindest person I know. He opened his doors to me and his world when I was just 21, the first time I went to Neverland. And this may take a few minutes, this story, but Michael gave me his time, so we're going to give, our time to him, because we're all here because of Michael Jackson. Like I said, I started a fan magazine back in 1988, and I sent it to Michael's management. They loved it. It's a Michael Loves You magazine. And I sent it to him regularly, and he gave his feedback. Then in 1990, I was invited to Los Angeles, where he was recording the Dangerous album. And I went to Westlake Studios. Michael walked into the room. He was wearing a fedora, black shirt. He looked incredible. He was singing a cappella. He sounded incredible. He walked into the room. He thanked me for producing the magazine. I thanked him for being Michael Jackson. From that point on, we got on really well. I sat down in the studio with him. He played me some songs from the album that he was recording. I interviewed him, I asked if I could take some pictures. His management said, no, you can't take any pictures. And Michael said, yeah, that's fine, he can take some pictures for his magazine. Because Michael was understanding that, he had a fan base, he had people that loved him since he was at the age of 11, and he wanted to give back to them. And the work I was doing was giving back to his fans and everything. So Michael was very supportive of the work that I did. So I took some pictures for the magazine, and at the end of the evening, he said, Adrian, would you like to come back to Neverland for some lunch? And I said, yeah, I'd love to come back to Neverland for some lunch. So that Saturday, we were driven out to Santa Ynez, it's 2 hours from Los Angeles, and I walked from these massive gates, and there was this lush green valley, there was 2 chimpanzees rolling around in the grass. There was giraffes, and there was llamas, and there was a fun fair, and there was flamingos. And I said to the security guard taking me to the house, this isn't reality, but they said, this is reality for Michael Jackson. This is what he wakes up to every day. And it made me realise from that point that, there was nothing weird or wacky about Michael Jackson. Since the age of 11, some of these kids that are performing in the show, he had everything. He had a #1 record, he had 4 straight #1 records from the age of 11. And he lived an amazing life. And I'm so grateful that he shared that with me. So I'll just tell you a couple more stories about that time. New York, when he was recording the History album, there's me in the studio, there's Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, there's Janet Jackson, there's Lisa Marie Presley, and Lisa says, who's he? And Michael says, he's the guy. He's the one who puts my band magazine together, and he supports me through all this, and he puts these books together. And this is a book that I wrote in 1994 about Michael. And Michael signed it, and he said, Adrian, with heartfelt appreciation, all your hard work on my behalf, love, Michael Jackson. The key thing there is hard work. Everyone here has worked really hard to get where they are. All the dancers, all the crew, all the musicians, all the singers have worked really hard. I worked hard for 21 years to get to this point, to create a show about Michael Jackson. When I first came up with the idea, people said I was crazy, they said it couldn't happen, and it wouldn't work. I put on the first show at the Dominion Theatre, I had a great team, Keris Nathan, who's not here this evening. Thank you, Keris, for being the director of the first show. Thank you, Jonathan Park, for coming up with the set idea. And I had a great team of people. Yasmin, I think, was involved in the first production. And we worked really hard for 4 weeks to put the first production together. It wasn't perfect, but we put everything into it. I put everything into it. At the end of it, I had nothing left. Flying Music were in the audience. They loved the show. And from 2007, we started touring the production together. The last tour I could go on for ages because I met Michael so many times. He was such an amazing, giving person. He was like so supportive. But the last time I spoke to Michael, I said, Michael, you know, people are writing these stories about you. Why don't you just be open and nice and come out and just kind of like say something about all these negative stories about you? And he said, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, they're always going to write bad stuff about me. And you know, I remember having conversations like one time we were in the studio together, and he had a pimple on his skin, and he was really embarrassed about it. And I said, don't worry about it, Mike, you look great. And he said, do I go? And he cancelled his photo shoot just for that day. And then he said, sorry about this, Adrian. And like a few months later, he flew me back out to Chicago, we did a photo shoot, and that's the kind of person he was. So thank you, Michael Jackson, and I just want people to know that he was down to earth, he was kind, he was funny, he was intelligent, and I miss him. But every day I'm reminded of his brilliance because of this fantastic cast that we have, and thank you for your support.
When I was approached by the producers to see what I wanted to do for the 10th anniversary, it was very important to me that it was about company. About this company that you've seen on stage tonight, and about the companies that make up the 10 years of this show here at the Lyric and out on tour. We have a touring production, and those guys, they can't be here with us tonight. We're thinking about them. So we've gathered everybody here together, and I just want to say a huge thank you to Ben Forster, to Mitchell Zangaza, Nathan Williams, Ishan Gapar, and all of you that came out tonight to grace this stage once again with your talent. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to cast. It's a really challenging show, and I think only those of you that do it really understand how difficult it is. And you're all here, and the love that we felt from you tonight up here was incredible. And that's when I realised this was more than company, this was family. This was working family coming together to celebrate everything that you guys have put in to what you have created, Adrian. So I want to thank you for your vision, for bringing us all together, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be standing here today. Derek and Paul, because without their belief, we wouldn't be here. They believed in the show. They pushed us beyond belief to be better than we ever were. So thank you to you guys. Just to pick up on what you were saying, just thank you to Jeanette and Kevin, the best press and marketing team in the West End. And all of our creators, Nigel Cameron, the lighting designer, Chris Whitebrow, the sound designer, Colin and all of the Potion Pictures team who do all of our visuals, Rob, Kat and Jess, who work so hard on all the costumes, and all of their teams out there and back here who work tirelessly to make this happen every day.
Another 10 years.
Absolutely, that would be great. I want to bring a couple of people forward. Florrie, can you step forward for me? So this guy doesn't get enough credit for everything that he has invested in the show. He is incredible. He started out as a dance captain, as an understudy Michael Jackson, and then he is just Michael Jackson, as you saw tonight. So I just want to say thank you. You're incredible. Yeah, and everything you do. Hayden and John, Miranda. Without the two of you. You embody Michael, you bring the spirit of Michael to this stage, you always have, you lead with such an impeccable example to everybody that comes into the show. And this is your life. from me to my girls, my angels, the girls that keep this going, that teach this show, that represent me and my work and the quality and keep it up. Joe Dice. Rose Wild. What's she there? This is Joe Dice, everyone. Rose, Yasmin Yassi, from the beginning. Ashton Duffy. Oh, she's still there. Yeah. Thank you. Ashley, all the teachers, Lauren, Jordan, Jason, Gary, Stefan, Floyd, everybody who's done a great step for this show. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, seriously. And then just to finish, this incredible company up here. How amazing are these guys? Setting the bar for another 10 years, I think. Yeah. And just lastly, just a thank you to you guys, all of you for coming, supporting us, buying a ticket, believing in what we do up here. Hopefully we're here for another 10 years. Okay, and that just leaves for us to take the final bow all together. You ready? Okay. Please give it up for the cast of Thriller Live!